Hey, what is up, guys? Josh back here again with you today for another one, and today I'm doing another whiskey review, another bourbon review. And the one that I have here today is one that I just picked up. Haven't even opened the bottle yet, but it is Ezra Brooks 90 proof Kentucky sour mash whiskey from the Ezra Brooks distillery. Kind of branded as the modern gentleman's whiskey, as they sort of call it. So yeah, bottled at 90 proof, aged in new charred white oak barrels, charcoal filtered, and yeah. So this is actually kind of a younger distillery, Ezra Brooks. A lot of them will say that they started in like 18 something, 17 something, whatever. This one was actually started in 1957, and I believe that it is distilled out of Kentucky. Started in 1957. This distillery, and comparatively, it's actually a fairly young distillery, all things considered, with that whole situation. I believe I may have had Ezra Brooks before. I'm not entirely certain. It could have been. I could be thinking about Evan Williams, which I've had plenty of times. Ezra Brooks I have heard as far as budget bourbons go, budget whiskeys go, anything like that. 90 proof, it is one of the better budget whiskeys, so I've been told. So I wanted to go ahead and pick it up, and this one I have here is a 1 liter bottle. I got it for like 16 bucks. So for 90 proof, a liter of 90 proof whiskey that I'm told good things about for $16, under 20 bucks, had to pick it up for sure. Wanted to review it on here. Has a nice cork in there. It's pretty cool. I like that more and more distilleries are starting to do this with their whiskeys, adding corks to it. Not a huge deal or anything when it comes to plastic cap versus cork, but there's something just way more satisfying about a cork in your bottle, even though it is synthetic one. But that's good. I like that a lot more distilleries are, even if they do have a more kind of like bottom shelf bourbon, they're still gonna pop a cork in it, for the hell of it, I guess. Let's go ahead and get a little taste, pour it out here, and see what we think about this particular whiskey here today. Definitely was running low finally on my little mini bar, so needed to pick up some more whiskey that I can just either sip on, mix some cocktails up with, anything like that. Like I said, Ezra Brooks I've heard good things about, so definitely wanted to try this one out here today. And if we go ahead and look at the color, you can see it's kind of just a sort of plain, just kind of like copper, fairly light colored bourbon. I believe it's more than likely aged at least 4 years. I don't know if it says anything about that on the bottle. I looked at their official site, and I don't believe I saw anything on their official site for that either. So I don't think it has an age date on here, but it's got to be at least 4 years old. And by the color there that I'm seeing, that's fairly likely to be the case. It's still leaving some nice teardrops along the glass that you may or may not be able to see there. Again, as I stated in the other video, sorry for the water droplets on there. Just kind of wash this glass and everything. Looks kind of just like a maybe like a 4-year-old whiskey. So let's go ahead and get into the aroma on this. The aroma is definitely full of oak, full of a good bit of charcoal. Actually, I'm getting too. A little bit of a smokiness, maybe. Like a backyard kind of grill sort of smokiness. But I'm also getting some kind of nice spicy notes in there as well. A little bit of brown sugar, maybe some maple. Now, tasting notes on this on the site mentioned vanilla, caramel, and chocolate. But not really getting so much. It's more of like an oaky, smokier kind of bourbon, uh, sour mash whiskey. And somebody in the comments, if they see this, they could maybe educate me a little bit on if there's any difference between sour mash whiskey and bourbon, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey versus Kentucky sour mash, because that's I'm a little you know hazy on the difference between the two, if there is any. Yeah, it just smells like a just a nice smoky oaky smoked and oaked type of whiskey. Let's get into the flavor on this one. And that smokiness does come through on the flavor as well. Same thing with the oak kind of flavor there. Uh, and actually, a fairly long finish, to be honest. Kind of a kind of verging on a silky kind of finish. I want to say. Getting some of the vanilla, um, but mostly a lot of that oak. Getting a good bit of an oaky flavor to this one. A little bit of the charcoal as well, but mostly the oak. Getting a little bit of that sort of maple flavor, kind of more of a brown sugar though actually. The caramel, the vanilla for sure, and that finish is I could maybe kind of see where there's maybe some cocoa notes in there almost on the finish, lending to that sort of kind of like I said, it's almost got like a really kind of coats the back of your throat. It's like it has like a nice sort of silky kind of coating finish with some cocoa notes. So that's really nice actually. Um, Not too crazy on the spices on the flavor. Like I said, this is really more of a sort of kind of desserty kind of flavor. Besides that oak, that really heavy wood flavor, really kind of roughing this one up a little bit. Giving it more of a kind of rustic quality. Some are more like citrusy, a little bit more spicy, and you kind of think of a more kind of just fruity kind of whiskey. This one has more kind of dessert notes in it, like again the caramel, the vanilla, a bit of that cocoa, and then a nice kind of smoky kind of woody sort of oak flavor to it. Let's go ahead with one more taste here and see if we can get anything else out of it. Yeah, then some baking spices, clove, allspice, a little bit of cinnamon, mostly clove though. Uh, but yeah, this is actually I think I will agree with those who've told me that this is a really solid budget bourbon to try. Um, Again, it's real full of flavor. There's a little bit of alcohol burn from that 90 proof. It's not totally smooth or anything like that. How like some other 90 proof bourbons can be. For example, one that I'm kind of finding that I can compare this somewhat to, maybe like a cheaper kind of version, would be the I'm blanking on it right now. The Eagle Rare bourbon, which has a lot of those sort of chocolatey sort of uh, uh, you know uh, kind of dessert sort of notes. But it's way smoother, obviously way smoother than the Ezra Brooks. But so it's the Ezra Brooks is kind of I'm getting again, like I said, like kind of more of a cheaper poor man's Eagle Rare. That's just my tasting notes, and I know that the Eagle Rare bourbon can kind of vary per bottle because of how they bottle it and everything like that and blend it. But yeah, that's kind of the best thing I can kind of like give an analogy about this is it's really kind of like a poor man's Eagle Rare. Both the same proof and everything like that. And like again, I said, I got a big old 1 liter bottle of this to decant or do whatever I want with. This will really go good in cocktails and everything like that, I think, because how full the flavor is on it. So I would absolutely recommend checking out Ezra Brooks, their Black Label 90 proof. They also have a rye. They have a Old Ezra, which is a 101 proof. So they have some other options. And from what I saw at the store I was at earlier, they were all pretty much around the same price line, around the $20 mark. So I would definitely recommend trying it out if you see it there in that sort of typical old style kind of label and everything like that, with the cork too, which is always nice, as I said before. So yeah, I would definitely recommend picking it up if you see it. And until next time, guys, thank you for watching.